Hey guys, what's up? I'm refilming the beginning of this video because I didn't realise that my camera was completely out of shot. So now I have a really bad throat and the rest of the video has sounded a lot better. Anyway, my nails are off, I'm planning a new design. I'm comparing today two brushes that look kind of similar. This one, oh, my cat's just opened the door. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. I'm comparing two brushes. This one, my £6 eBay brush, and this one, my £22 I think, or £22.50 glitter fairy brush. So I'm just going to do briefly first impressions on the difference between the two brushes. Now, you'll notice that my eBay brush has no lid because when it arrived, the lid did not fit and it just would fall off. It was literally like doing this. There you go, there's your lid. So first of all, there's no lid for it, and that in itself is a pain in my backside. Secondly, there's a stylus on the end and I don't know why. Any suggestions? Why would you use a fume-soaked brush to tap your phone? I don't know. Anyway, I have used this brush for months, so I've got good use out of it. And I can say that it's very lightweight, super duper duper light. So if you like a light brush, that might be nice for you. For me, it's not got enough weight on it at all. It's not far off this piece of plastic. It's a size 10 oval. So it's slightly pinched there, but I find that it's not particularly strong. Does that make sense to you brush users? It doesn't feel like it's got much backbone. The paint job on it is kind of cheap, I'll be honest with you. But I have used it for months, and for doing my own nails, it served a purpose. However, I explain later on in this video why I purchased this brush in the first place and why I didn't invest in a more expensive brush. So I've recently bought this brush, which is from the Glitter Fairy. The finish on it is a lot nicer, I think you'll agree. The embossing on it is really beautiful. The lid fits beautifully. Okay, and then the lid attaches to this part. And it actually says round, so you know it's a round size 10 from the Glitter Fairy. It forms a beautiful point. It has a lot more rigidity, and this isn't properly broken in yet, I must admit. I haven't done full sets of nails, I've just been doing test designs and stuff. So it's not properly broken in. My first impression is it's got a little bit more weight to it, but it's not heavy. It's well balanced, it feels nice. The bristles feel different, and I'll show you in a minute exactly what I mean by that and how they perform differently. So yes, £6 eBay brush versus the £22 Glitter Fairy brush. Let's go, let's try these out. Okay, so I've got some Neo Nails monomer left over. So I'm going to use that because I've got quite a lot of their powder left. I don't want to use my trilogy for this, you see. I'm going to prepare both my brushes the same way by soaking them in the monomer, wiping them on a towel and bringing them to as much of a point as I can. So already, when I put these in the monomer, I feel a difference. Now it could be because one is flatter and one is rounder, but when I put this in my monomer, this kind of just splurges and collapses out quite easily. This one is firmer. Sorry about the noise. It's a snow day today, so kids are off school. So Daddy's entertaining them. Everything's just shut down. So yeah, this has got more firmness to it, and the bristles feel smoother. There's a different texture straight away. So let's get on to my practice tips. I'll show you bead pickup, application, and smoothing out, pressing, using all the different elements of the brush, okay? Okay, so we're going to use the eBay brush first. I've just realised I haven't got my spotlight on. Hang on a minute, let me get my spotlight, it'll make it easier for you guys. There you go, that's much better. Okay, so let's start with the eBay oval brush, size 10. I put it in my monomer. It doesn't take much to completely flatten it. I don't really have to press down very hard at all. There's not a lot of resistance, which may just be because it's an oval brush instead of a round brush. But it just feels there's less of it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if you do. I'm not very good at explaining. Okay, so I'm going to use a 3-stroke pickup. So I'm going to tap my brush at the side, and I'm going to go in 1, 2, 3. Okay. I'm going to place my bead down. Doesn't really matter where, does it? So that's come up quite dry. It could be, we'll see how it goes with the other one. So I'm going to clean my brush off, wipe it on the side, come back in, and I'm going to work this bead. Now for me, I always felt like with this brush, it just didn't have a lot of backbone. I really struggled working with CJP with this brush because I felt like CJP being a drier system, it was harder to blend for me. So if I was to get let's pick up a bigger, drier bead. I'm going to try anyway. Let me try and get a bigger bead and place that down. I mean, yeah, it's sticking quite a lot. This is an older brush, so that could be why. Let me just give it a good clean a sec. Okay, so I find it harder, you see how it splays out? I find it harder to control with this brush. I don't feel like it has as much strength in it. But the reason I got this, which is more important, is because I didn't know. When I was trained, which is, oh my God, 2013, I was not taught about brush quality. In fact, the course I went on gave me a brush, and it was like a 99p eBay brush. So I was not taught about brush quality, and I was not, had I have been given 2 brushes, one cheap and one expensive, and shown the difference in quality and how it improves your workmanship, I think I would have instantly gone and bought a better brush. It's only now that I've gone and bought myself a decent brush after all these years. So let's change over, and I'm trying my best to use as many good descriptive words as possible to explain how it feels to use a different brush. So this is the Glitter Fairy round number 10. It's kept its point beautifully from where I just cleaned it off. I'm going to put it in the monomer. If you can see this, I put it in the monomer. Now if I just leave it, it's quite firm. I have to push to get it to really splay out and get the air bubbles out. I have to be more forceful. I didn't with the other brush. Whether that's just the shape or it's the quality, I don't know. I'm going to wipe my brush off on a clean area of toweling. I'm going to go back into my monomer. I'm going to tap a couple of times on the side, and I'm going to do a 3 pickup. 1, 2, 3. Now it picks up a bigger bead. That could just be because it's taken on more of the product. I'm going to clean that off. And I'm just going to start working my bead. I feel like with this brush, I'm using the same amount of pressure, but it's not disturbing the brush as much. Does that make sense? Whereas with the other brush, when I start pushing, it would splay out instantly. This one seems to have more rigidity to it, but not in a way that makes it awkward to work with. And I feel like overall it just moves the product easily. I'm going to try and pick up a really big bead now. So I'm just going to tap once on the side, and I'm actually just going to pat my brush in my product and see what we get. That's a pretty big bead. It's not all wet, so I'm just going to tap off. I'm going to try and release some of the moisture from my brush. I mean, that's not too bad. We do have some of the polymer on there, so I'm just going to make sure I really clean that and take care of it. And then I'm going to wipe it back. So that bead's pretty much stayed where I put it, and this is quite a rigid bead. It's quite dry, so I'm just going to tap it. Let's just swipe that a little bit. I feel like I have more control with this brush. I feel it's absolutely, I mean, the first time I used it, I was just bowled over, and it's not even broken in really, in brush terms. I just feel it works the product better. I mean, I'm not really comparing how it has worked the product, but actually there is a difference. And I've done the same thing with both brushes, but I just feel like the Glitter Fairy brush gives me the ability to move my product and work my product with more control. I'd love to know what anyone else feels, what brushes you use, if you've tried the cheaper brushes. I didn't know any different, you know. But I certainly will never buy a brush like this again. I mean, it served me well for what I was doing, but because I was only doing my own nails with it. But now, getting ready to go back into salon, I need a good quality brush. And wholeheartedly, you know, I paid for this, bought it with my own money. This is amazing. And I will absolutely be buying the 3D brushes, and I'll probably invest in a size 8 and a size 12 as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. I can definitely feel a difference. I hope I've described it well enough for you guys. I hope it's made sense. And if there's any questions, let me know.